What's up, guys? It's February 25th. 21 days ago, I wasn't able to lay down on green spring grass. You see, just because it's February and you live in a cold season climate and your grass hasn't woken up doesn't mean you can force it. Let me show you how I did it. All right, before we get to the meat and potatoes of this video, I want to throw a little caveat out here. I did a couple things in this video that are very not normal and very hard to scale. So, like for instance, I made a grass greenhouse. In the real world, if you wanted to actually wake your real lawn up, you wouldn't be making a grass greenhouse for the entire lawn. However, there's nothing out there that says that you cannot put down crop cover over the top of your entire lawn. That, although it is extreme, doesn't cost a ridiculous amount of money, and it's not particularly hard. You just put the crop cover down on it and pin it down with little garden stakes. Not that big of a deal. It's not going to be quite as dramatic of a result, but it will work. All right, let's get into the video. You'll see what I'm talking about. I thought about putting the greenhouse plastic straight onto the lawn, but I figured that was probably not the best idea. So here I got some 1x6s that I'm framing out a small little mini grass greenhouse frame. Yeah, that'll do. It's roughly 10 foot by 5 foot. That looks like a pretty good spot. What do you think, guys? I'm gonna warm this grass up. I know it's February 4th, but I think by the end of the month, probably by the middle of the month, I can get that grass thinking that it's spring. All right, I got to do some temperature checks. This thermometer is in the ground with snow in the ground, and it currently says, say, about 34 degrees. All right, I moved the thermometer over here. It's about 33 to 34 degrees. Now, if you're going to manually or mechanically aerate your lawn, what I'm doing here is obviously manual, very manual. Best practice is to get about 24 holes per square foot. What I've got blocked off here is 50 square foot. So that would be 240 times 5. It's about 1,250 holes. My manual core aerator does 2 holes per plunge. So that means I need to do about 630 plunges. I just punched 602 holes into this side of my structure here. Raked all the material up, and there it is. It didn't take that long, and it wasn't that hard. I'm going to do the other side now. All right, I'm shedding clothes. It's been 45 minutes since I started, and I did that side and that side. I plunged my core aerator down into the ground 602 times, meaning I made 1,204 cores in the ground. We're aiming for a 3-inch core. Now, when you're doing a core aerator manually, you're not going to get that on average. 2 to 2.5 inches is probably reasonable. But at a 3-inch core, if you take radius times the height of your core times pi. So these are 3/4 inch cores, so you're looking at 0.375 times 0.375 times 3 inches depth times pi. Do all of that math. I can't think clearly off the top of my head, but I did do this earlier. It ends up being about just under 1 cubic feet of material that we have pulled out of the ground for 50 square feet. Since I probably am not averaging 3-inch cores, they're probably closer to 2.25 inch. So if I gather all of this material up, it's probably going to be about 3/4, between 1/2 to 3/4 of a cubic foot of material. So in previous videos I said that I don't really want to remove material from my ground, but it's so early in the season that this stuff isn't going to break down. My cat's butt, man. Ugh. This stuff isn't really going to break down quickly because it's still cold outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop it all up, and I'm going to go and replace it with, get this, worm castings. I'm going to head off to my local farm and garden store, the Grange, and pick up some worm castings and spread it into those holes, but not today. First, I'm going to do a deep water. All right, before I move on to the next step, I want to stop and show you this. I filled this box up. What is that? Maybe about 4 inches by 16 by 10 or something like that. It's probably about a cubic foot or a little bit less. This is what I wanted to show you. These cores, look at that right there. See that? Look at that hole into the ground. There are 1,204 of those holes in the ground right here. If you look at it from afar, it doesn't really look any different at all. It just looks like winter dormant grass. But every single one of those holes provides channel for the sunlight and the air, like the warmer air that's out here. Like right now I'm in a t-shirt. Bowling. Man, I wish I was bowling right now. Provides a channel for the air and for the warm air to go down in there, and water to go down in there, as well as nutrients. Basically, it's going to help thaw out and warm up the soil deep into the ground. 50 square feet, I need to give this water. Now it's moist right now, so I don't want to give it like a full inch of water. But I do want to warm it up. Water will, let's see, if the water is warmer than the material it's hitting, it's going to warm that material up 20 times faster than air. So yeah, I could wait for the air to warm that up. The whole point here is to make that grass think that it's spring before it's actually spring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take water from the tap inside my house. I'm not going to make it hot water because nobody wants to put hot water on their lawn, but I am going to make it like warm room temperature. I'm saying like maybe around 80 degrees. And I'm going to throw it on here, and it's going to go down into all 1,200 of those holes, and it's going to, like, quickly, relatively to the air, warm up that soil much faster than the air would. Roughly 0.62 gallons of water for every square foot is what it takes to put an inch of water down. So I'm going to round that down because it's cold out here. So I'm going to say about 1/2 gallon for every square foot. I got 50 square feet. That means I need 25 gallons of 80-degree tap water from my house.
Do it on this grass.
That's a good one to do it on. Good job there, kid.
What's in the hole right there?
That actually took a while, bringing in that much water from my kitchen. All of it's down into the holes. At this point, I could, here, why not? Hey, let's just do it. It's only been about an hour, but I'm going to say after putting that water down, the temperature is already up a couple degrees, 36 to 37 degrees right now. With warm water going down, I'm now going to cover this. I'm going to start with this frost blanket. This is a crop cover fabric. This is what we use in the garden to protect our crops against frost. In a future video, I'm sure you'll see our garden. This is designed to cover and protect and guard against frost, allow water, air, sunlight to go through it, blah, 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 blah. The point here is that crop cover is going to retain the heat in the space under it and above the ground. At this point, you can see in the far background over there, behind my son, I've got greenhouse fabric, greenhouse plastic. I'm going to put the greenhouse plastic over the top, and that's going to help make this a little bit more like a greenhouse to help warm everything up. Now I'm not going to keep the greenhouse plastic on there for the whole time because I don't want it to get too hot. All right, there we go. I got the greenhouse plastic stuck on top. I'm going to leave that on for a handful of days, then remove the plastic, but I'm going to keep the crop cover on, the fabric on. The fabric is going to insulate it, and it's going to keep that heat in close to the ground. But the plastic, I don't want it to keep overheating the ground and the grass blades that are there already. All right, a full 4 days has passed. There's my spot. My son was trying to mow the grass already, and it is slowly starting to wake up. You can actually tell the line right here where it's a little bit more dingy gray here, and it's starting to get a little bit of color back here. And when you step on it, you can easily tell that the ground is softer. Currently, soil temperatures here are up to 41 degrees now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this spot down with some liquid humic acid. I'm going to add a little bit of a surfactant to it so everything kind of like the wetting agent kind of digs deeper. And I'm going to throw in a small dose of micronutrients into it as well. That way later this week when I go and apply the liquid iron, everything kind of absorbs in and starts working a little bit more efficiently. All right, I've never actually mixed up such a small amount of product before. I'm going to be putting Next Humic 12 down. I'm going to be putting on Simple Grow Solutions, micronutrients, and a tiny bit of surfactant. Literally, I'm applying this to 50 square feet. So we're talking like a dribble of this, like 0.2 ounces. I believe it's 0.4 ounces of this I'm putting in. And then this, I'm going to be putting, I think it's 0.5. Anyway, it's a tiny, tiny bit. All right, that's it for today. Like I said, humic acid, surfactant, really that's just to help get things to go deeper. But I got 1,200 holes punched in the ground here, so that helps also. Humic acid, surfactant, and a micronutrient blend that contains manganese and magnesium. Those things help with chlorophyll production, photosynthesis. So in a few days, I'm going to go ahead and apply a liquid iron on top of this. In the meantime, I'm going to put my little greenhouse fabric back down on top of it to keep heat in, and this is going to continue to green up and wake up, and in a few days I'm going to add liquid iron to really get it going. I figured I'd also take the opportunity to line up all my pots of baby grass. Some of them are obviously babies, the others are not necessarily babies anymore, but to give them a little spritz. I have never added any product of any kind to those pots, so I'll probably do that a couple more times this spring. Gotta water it in, at least a little bit. All right, here we are a couple days later. It's now Wednesday, February 10th. It's been a full 6 days since I started this project. You can see that the grass is greening up a little bit under there. Today's the day that I'm raking up, fluffing, and adding worm castings to the soil. Now, worm castings, as I mentioned earlier in this video, are beneficial for a number of reasons. One of which, they are very, very mild fertilizers. It's a 100. Most worm casting bags don't even state what the NPK rating is. It is very fine, as you can see right here. It's almost like sand, except for it's super fluffy. It is a fantastic soil amendment, and it helps stimulate microbial life. This is a perfect yet expensive alternative to using play sand or some sort of fine sand. Here, after spreading it on the ground, I'm gonna, well, I'm doing it right now, just brushing it in. I don't want to smother the grass that's there, so you brush it in so that it gets under the leaf canopy, down onto the soil surface, and ideally it's going to go down into the cores that I pulled 6 days ago. Not all of them go into the cores, but enough get in there for my liking. This is where we're looking at right now. I expect that over the next few days things are going to even look better, and I will be applying liquid iron very soon to get that real greening effect started. Today it's February 12th, and the grass really shouldn't be waking up this early in the season, but I'm making this little corner come alive again. I get the fact that this is tiny and this is a little bit different from an entire yard space, but I'm filming this really just to give you guys a good example of how to do this. All you got to do is scale up the size. When we're applying iron to the ground, we want to put it onto grass that is not dormant. So as you can see, this grass is starting to green up a little bit. This is not dormant compared to everything else. It has started to wake up. The soil temperatures are in the low 40s. Most of the time when I check the temperature, it's about 41 degrees. And so that's about the low end of where I'm going to put down, where I'm going to feel comfortable putting iron down onto the ground. Well, now it's Wednesday, February 17th. We got down to about 20, 21 degrees last night, and my grass is still greening up pretty good. There's the chicken enjoying it. And dare I say, I think some of that grass is actually growing. Today I'm going to apply a little bit of liquid aeration product to that. That's going to get some potassium down into the ground. That green section, wherever it is, there it is right there. That green section right there that's woken up. It's growing ever so slightly, even though it's still the end of winter. So I'm going to put a little potassium. I'm going to skip the other macronutrients. A little bit later, I'll probably add a little bit of some sort of fertilizer to it. But the potassium is going to give it a little bit of stress boost, because we're still going to have a lot of freezing nights over the next couple months. All right, I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this Simple Enhance. It's a 111. It's got just a touch of iron and manganese in it. Basically, I'm going to put a touch of that, like less than half of an ounce of product for my 50 square foot. And then, as planned, I'm going to put my Simple Aeration. It's got a little bit of sea kelp in there too, which is going to help with the roots. This has a good amount of potassium. Can't see it, it's not focusing. It's got a good amount of potassium along with a little bit more humic acid. And for the Simple Aeration, I'm also going to be putting that down. I'm going to put like less, just slightly under half an ounce. Yes. It's coming together nicely. What you doing? You just see the green grass and you want to be on it. Over here, in the regular soil temperatures are sitting at 42, almost 43 degrees. And now, over here in my green section, looks to me like soil temperature is about 45 degrees. Later in the afternoon, that'll probably be 46 or 47, because I haven't been keeping the greenhouse on during the day because We've got such sunny blue skies. I don't want to roast the grass. Hey, what you up to, man?
I'm gonna mow the part of the lawn that's growing.
Dude, man, it's like only February. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it's really growing. It's green.
All right, go get it done.
This is fun.
What's that?
This is fun.
This is work?
This is fun.
Oh, it's fun. Yes, it is. Well done. Well done, sir.
Yay.
So I'm not going to be putting a greenhouse over the rest of my lawn. Today's the 25th of February. But over the next few weeks, I am going to be continuing to pour aerate my lawn. The whole thing. I'm going to do it manually. I was going to rent something, but I'm just going to do it manually. I could use the exercise. The simple fact of the matter is, by core aerating your lawn, you're going to be getting some of this late winter, early spring, the warm air is going to be going down into the lawn and warming those lower areas of the soil up. If you throw your sprinklers on or manually irrigate the area after you core aerate, it's going to help thaw out the root zone of your grass quite a bit faster than just waiting for Mother Nature to do it itself. You don't have to go to the extremes that I did in this video, but if you take some of the things that I did out of this video and apply them to your lawn, you can get your lawn waking up a little bit before all of your neighbors. Even if it's just a week, hey, you're gonna feel good about that. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, man, and I hope to see you in the comments and in another video down the road.